In the next few tutorials, I want to talk about automating different parameters in Reason. Now, there are two main types of automation. There's automation of MIDI controllers. These are things like your mod wheel or your pitch bend or anything else that sends out MIDI information. Now, MIDI automation is stored in the same type of clips that notes are stored in. Parameter automation are all the faders and knobs and switches in Reason that you can automate, and they will get their own lanes in Reason typically. So let's take a look now at MIDI controller automation. I have here a 4-bar sequence, and just to remind you, in Preferences, we've set up two controllers. One is my Korg Triton, and the other is my Korg NanoPad, and I can have as many controllers as I want. Now, both of these controllers send MIDI information, not just notes, but mod wheel, pitch bend, breath controller, and so forth. So now when I record in this sequence, I'm going to move some MIDI controllers on my keyboards. I'm moving the mod wheel. Now I'm moving the pitch bend. Now, as you can see, that information is recorded. We're not going to worry about editing it in this video. We'll talk about that in a later video. But you can see it's there. There's the mod wheel, there's the pitch bend, and it's embedded into the clip with the notes. What's nice about this is when I move the clip, the automation moves with it. But there may be times where you don't want that to happen. In fact, you want to keep the automation separate. And I'll show you how to do that now. Let's undo everything here and get back to our original clip. And we're going to create a brand new lane. And that lane is enabled for recording. And when I record now, all I'm going to do is record MIDI controller information. Now, this has the advantage that the MIDI automation is separate, which means I can mute that lane if I want and not play it back. And I can also move it separately from my notes. Let's go ahead and mute that automation and watch what happens when I play back the sequence. Now I'll unmute it. So just to recap, we can record MIDI automation in the same clip as our note information, or we can create a separate lane and a separate clip for storing our MIDI information. And when I create a separate clip, I can move the automation independently from my notes, and I can also mute the automation separately from my notes.